The future of gaming has never looked brighter, and today we're counting down 50 new upcoming games you simply cannot miss before you die. Whether you live for RPGs, shooters, survival, or open-world adventures, there's something here that will blow your mind. Let's begin. Coming exclusively to PlayStation 5 in fall 2026, Marvel's Wolverine is one of the most electrifying reveals we've had in years. Insomniac finally lifted the curtain with a full gameplay showcase, and the direction is darker, grittier, and far more visceral than anyone expected. Brutal claw combat takes center stage, highlighting Logan's feral side in all its bloody intensity. The story isn't holding back either. Mystique, Omega Red, and even the Sentinels step into the frame as Wolverine's past catches up with him and drags him across the globe to places like Madripoor and Tokyo. It's not just about the violence, though. The narrative digs into Logan's centuries of scars, the burden of memory, and the toll of living too long. To bring this legend to life, Liam McIntyre, known from Spartacus, is both the voice and motion capture lead. Development has also seen a shift, with Marcus Smith and Mike Daly stepping in to steer the project.
Just not for me. How far I run. 'Cause I ain't no hero. I'm Wolverine.
Launching October 10th, 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS and PC, Battlefield 6 feels like a rebirth for the franchise. This isn't about flashy gimmicks, it's a return to the grounded, large-scale warfare that longtime fans have been asking for. The campaign puts you in command of Dagger 13, an elite Marine Raiders unit locked in a desperate battle against Pax Armada, a powerful private military corporation. Missions will take you across continents, from the streets of Brooklyn to desert firefights beneath ancient pyramids. For the first time in years, single player is being built to stand tall, with the ability to swap between squad members mid-mission, using a sniper's precision, an engineer's gadgets, or a breacher's raw firepower to push forward. Multiplayer is being shaped with equal care. Early testing in Battlefield Labs showed that hyperactive movement was hurting balance, so Insomniac has tuned it down.
But yet.
If they succeed, they will have secured the most strategic rock. Want to help our friends take back this rock?
You're playing it dangerous.
It's gonna look different now. Just takes a little shake of perspective.
Arriving March 19th, 2026, Crimson Desert is the long-awaited vision from Pearl Abyss, a single-player, open-world adventure built in their stunning Black Space engine. You step into the boots of Cliff, a mercenary torn between his fractured Greymane allies and the rising powers threatening to engulf the continent of Pywell. The new story trailer revealed during State of Play puts the spotlight on Cliff's personal drive, making it clear this is as much about his heart as it is about his sword. This isn't just combat, it's survival in a living, breathing land. Politics shift, factions clash, and side systems like crafting, gathering, and even cooking flesh out the world. Combat is fluid and dynamic, letting you chain combos, use the environment to your advantage, and master a variety of weapon styles. And visually, it's one of the most ambitious games on the horizon, with the PlayStation 5 version promising enhanced graphics, lightning-fast load times, 3D audio, and immersive DualSense support.
We fight for the future of all.
Truth that lies within. And let your heart speak. Your fight. Remember who you are. And let it guide your path.
Launching October 30th, 2025 on PlayStation 5, ARC Raiders has undergone a dramatic transformation. Once revealed as a free-to-play co-op shooter, it's now a full PvPvE extraction shooter. A high-stakes survival experience where every run could be your last. The core loop is brutal and clear. Rise from your underground base, push topside, scavenge resources, fight off rogue machines called ARCS, and try to extract before someone else puts you down. And you won't just face AI, other human players are hunting too. To make sure everything runs smoothly, the team is hosting a massive server slam from October 17th to 19th, open to everyone on all platforms. It's the final stress test before release, and while progress won't carry over, players will be rewarded with exclusive cosmetics when the full game launches.
Sorry, kids.
more than 2 decades, Onimusha is finally returning, and it's arriving in 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and PC. Way of the Sword resurrects Capcom's samurai action series in breathtaking fashion, plunging us into a dark fantasy Kyoto during the early Edo period. Demonic Genma forces have twisted the land, and only one man stands against them, Miyamoto Musashi, modeled after the legendary actor Toshiro Mifune. The combat is precise and deliberate, built around deflections, parries, and timing. Your key tool is the Oni Gauntlet, a weapon that lets you absorb souls from fallen enemies, healing you, upgrading your abilities, or unleashing devastating Oni armaments. Unlike modern Souls-like design, this isn't about brutal punishment or sprawling open worlds. Instead, it's a cinematic, tightly crafted action experience that channels the spirit of the classic series.
Isn't what you promised, Gauntlet?
My troop was attacked, and one of...
Oh, the souls you got in there!
Apologize enough for dragging you down this path against your will.
A warrior meditates on what strength really means. Enjoying your...
Animula Nook is a newly revealed fantasy life simulation, and it might just be one of the most charming concepts we've seen in years. The world is Lilliputian. You're tiny, living among landscapes made from everyday objects. A towering coffee mug becomes a mountain. A bookshelf stretches into a vast cliffside, and a simple water well feels like a mysterious abyss. Your role is to carve out a home in this miniature world, gathering elemental resources like sunlight, raindrops, and gusts of wind to fuel your crafting and survival. You'll grow plants in small containers, build cozy homesteads, and interact with whimsical little folk that call this place home. The art direction leans into bright, modern, cartoon-inspired visuals, full of warmth and personality. And everywhere you look, there's interactivity. Every corner feels alive, waiting for you to explore or shape it.
On this journey, the company of friends outshines even the most.
Launching February 12th, 2026. For PlayStation 5, Yakuza Kiwami 3 isn't just an upgraded version, it's a complete remake in the Dragon Engine. Kamurocho and Okinawa are rebuilt in stunning detail with fully re-recorded cutscenes, enhanced visuals, and new content that adds depth to beloved characters and the world around them. For longtime fans, it's a chance to relive Kazuma Kiryu's third chapter like never before. But there's more. Bundled with this remake is Dark Ties, a companion story that shifts the spotlight onto Yoshitaka Mine, the original game's antagonist. For the first time, players will experience his rise, his inner conflicts, and the darker shades of the Yakuza world through his eyes. With fresh narrative beats, expanded gameplay mechanics, and that signature mix of drama, humor, and action-packed combat, this package feels like a true celebration of the series.
This is my company, right? Loved by no one. I'll cut to the chase. Konda-san,
Shit hits the fan, and I'm in a real bad spot.
Set for release sometime in 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC, Pragmata is one of Capcom's most mysterious and ambitious projects. The story unfolds on a lunar research station that has gone silent, plunging protagonist Hugh and the android companion Diana into a haunting journey through its deserted halls. But this isn't just another shooter. Combat mixes raw firepower with Diana's unique hacking abilities, which play out on a grid during battles. She can disable defenses, expose weak points, and alter the flow of combat, while Hugh capitalizes with weapons and mobility. This creates a layered rhythm, strategy and action hand in hand. Recent reveals have shown new locations like The Shelter and an expansive moon-based segment hinting at vertical, interconnected level design that encourages exploration as much as firefights. From Housemarque, the creators of Returnal, comes Saros, arriving March 20th, 2026, exclusively on PlayStation 5. This game takes the studio's signature blend of fast action and roguelike structure and evolves it into something new. The setting is Carcosa, an alien colony forever bathed in eclipse, where each death reshapes the world. Pathways shift, Enemies transform, and environments evolve with every run, ensuring no two journeys feel the same. You play as Arjun Devraj, voiced by Rahul Kohli, equipped with the Soltari combat suit and a mix of human and alien weaponry. A key mechanic is your energy shield, capable of absorbing enemy projectiles and reflecting them back. A satisfying twist that turns defense into offense. Unlike Returnal, Saros isn't a pure roguelike.
L2, you'll be able to destroy enemies using eclipse-driven weaponry.
Coming in 2026 for PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC, Zero Parades. For Dead Spies is a narrative-heavy spy fantasy RPG from the creators of Disco Elysium, and it's every bit as experimental and psychologically intense as you'd expect. You play as Herschel, a once elite operative haunted by his past and dragged back into the shadows to confront a broken system. The gameplay is driven by dramatic encounters where time slows down and your choices decide life or death. Every decision is tied to dice rolls and attributes, but you can exert yourself to push the odds in your favor, at a cost that always lingers. Layered on top of that is the conditioning system, reminiscent of Disco Elysium's Thought Cabinet. You internalize beliefs, traumas, and mental shifts that directly shape your abilities and weaknesses, making your psyche as much a part of the game as your skills.
Methods are so unhinged.
But they get results, no?
Long-range missiles get results.
Show a little faith. We're at the end of history. Everything that could go wrong.
Touching down on PlayStation 5 on December 8, 2025, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 brings its sky-spanning sandbox to a new runway with full DualSense support. Adaptive triggers mimicking control surface resistance, gyro for fine adjustments, and ATC chatter piping through the controller speaker. A free PSVR 2 mode arrives in 2026, primed for cockpit-to-cloud immersion. This edition lands with the same breadth already loved on PC and Xbox. Dedicated mission types like aerial firefighting, search and rescue, cargo ops, agricultural runs, hot air ballooning, and more, alongside a vast fleet of aircraft and handcrafted airports. Post-launch world updates and sim updates continue on PS5, promising feature parity and a living platform that keeps expanding long after you take off. Arriving December 19th, 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC. From the Ashes pushes Ubisoft's open-world Pandora into darker, more personal territory. You step into the role of Solek, a Na'vi warrior scarred by RDA incursions and the rise of the Ash clan, fighting to reclaim a ravaged homeland, including the blighted Kingler Forest. Before the expansion hits, a free update on December 5th brings long-requested features to the base game, a fully realized third-person mode and New Game Plus, complete with reworked animations, controls, and camera so the shift feels natural. The expansion layers in fresh combat mechanics, new regions to explore, and a story that trades spectacle for raw emotion, a tale of loss, resilience, and the cost of lighting the night back up. Targeting 2026 on PlayStation 5, Demi and the Fractured Dream is a fantasy action-adventure where every swing and step wrestles with power and consequence. You play as Demi, a void-sent bound to a dangerous curse that wounds and empowers in equal measure. The realm of Somnus sprawls from wind-carved desert spires to drowned marshlands, each zone hiding the trail of 3 accursed beasts whose awakening threatens to end everything. Combat flows between weapons, spells, tools, and razor-timed dodges that unleash bursts of void energy, while exploration leans on environmental puzzle platforming and buildcraft through charms that subtly reshape your playstyle. With release details still TBA, the promise is clear. A journey where the void isn't just an enemy, It's the blade you learn to wield. Launching February 6th, 2026, on PlayStation 5 and PC, Nioh 3 sharpens Team Ninja's steel with a story of bloodlines and yokai set amid a fraternal struggle that engulfs Tokugawa Takechiyo. The combat heart beats faster thanks to dual playstyles you can switch between seamlessly. The traditional samurai discipline with stances, kai management, and punishing precision, and a swift ninja style built around evasive aerial movement, trick tools, and a mist ability that spawns a clone for deadly repositioning. The world loosens its corridors into broader fields and side zones riddled with ambushes, duels, and secrets, while the series' crucible challenges and encounters with historical figures thread across eras. It's the same ruthless dance, only freer, fiercer, and more flexible than ever.
Strength alone is not enough to end this war!
Time! Go now!
You wish to become Shogun, and I have both! Strength
Releasing March 13th, 2026 on PlayStation 5, Twisted Reflection takes the Rider saga into its darkest chapter. Two kingdoms, Azuria and Vermeil, teeter on war as a crystalline blight creeps across the land, petrifying monsters and shattering old truths. As the heir of Azuria and the last Rathalos rider, you join Princess Eleanor of Vermeil to uncover the source of the encroachment and mend a world splintering along old wounds. Traversal and combat carry real heft this time. Ride your monstie across varied terrain, engage in mounted skirmishes, and then drop into turn-based battles where the classic power-speed technical triangle hits harder with stricter counters and punishing misreads. Strategy matters, synergy matters, and every choice reflects back, sharp and unforgiving, like a blade in crystal.
Listen, you should really succeed the throne. I know it's the last thing you want, but a ruler as kind as you would ensure peace for a generation, maybe even longer.
The Rathalos! I can't believe they'd bring it here!
Launching January 30th, 2026 on PlayStation 5, Code Vein 2 returns to its gothic roots with a sharper edge and a darker threat looming over its blood-soaked world. Revenants once again stand at the brink of collapse, but this time the danger comes in the form of Luna Rapaces, a mysterious force that drives them into madness and twists them into feral horrors. The sequel promises everything fans loved about the original: deep build variety, weapon customization, and partner systems that change how battles unfold, but layered with even more complexity and choice. The tagline, "Change a future bound by blood," hints at branching progression and story-altering decisions that could reshape entire paths. This is Code Vein redefined, where every blade and every bond carries the weight of survival.
Let's go.
Arriving February 5th, 2026 on PlayStation 5, Deus Ex Remastered is not just a visual upgrade. It's a modern rebirth of one of the most important immersive sims ever made. Environments have been reimagined with new lighting, particle effects, dynamic shadows, and rebuilt textures. Characters now move with lip-synced dialogue and realistic ragdoll physics, while controls have been overhauled for modern gamepads, drawing inspiration from Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. Radial menus, refined stealth systems, and intuitive weapon handling bring the classic into the present without losing its soul.
A new age, and we will be crowned its kings. Better than kings.
The Gran Turismo series has surpassed 100 million units sold worldwide, and to celebrate, the Spec 3 update is arriving as one of the biggest expansions in the game's history. Two legendary circuits, Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, are being added, alongside 8 new cars that push both heritage and performance. Beyond the new rides and tracks, Spec 3 deepens the simulation with a data logger tool for telemetry and analysis, an increased collector-level cap, and unlimited car invitations in Brand Central. giving players even more freedom to expand their collections. Weekly challenges, circuit experience mode, the menu interface, and online stability all receive major improvements, making the whole package more polished and engaging.
薬のアップデートには、2つの、レーストラック、フォーミュラ1でも使われているトラックである。
Already a rising star in the ARPG scene, Last Epoch is making its leap onto PlayStation 5 alongside the release of its first major expansion, Oribis. This chapter delves deep into the mystery of the entity known as Oribis, dragging players across time to reshape the history of A.I.L.A itself. The PS5 launch ensures console players get the full experience: sprawling skill trees, class depth with 5 base classes branching into 3 masteries each, deterministic crafting systems, and all seasonal content released so far. Oribis adds a story-driven layer of cosmic intrigue, combining time manipulation with the kind of loot-driven progression that keeps every run fresh. It's both a new entry point for console players and a fresh challenge for veterans.
It's time. And time leads back to me.
Releasing December 3rd, 2025 on PlayStation 5 and PC, Let It Die. Inferno reimagines the cult classic in a new full-price package. This time, the climb of the Tower of Barbs gives way to a plunge into the Hell Gate, a descent where every run is different. Layouts, loot, and enemies shift with each dive, embracing roguelite chaos at its purest. You play as an immortal raider, wielding weapons tied to your character but able to scavenge and dual-wield unique finds along the way, unlocking devastating combos based on your loadout. PvEVP encounters add even more tension, as you'll face both relentless monsters and rival players fighting for survival in the depths. Inferno is grim, fast, and unforgiving, a brutal carnival where the only way forward is down.
It's just hell. You are truly my only hope.
GTA 6 will arrive on May 26, 2026. The game was originally planned for fall 2025, but Rockstar delayed it to ensure the project reaches its full potential. Despite whispers of another setback, the studio has confirmed that the date stands firm. This new entry isn't just about bigger explosions and faster cars, it's also about pushing boundaries in surprising ways. Rockstar is introducing regional compliance systems, including age verification for online play in certain markets like the UK. And the world itself is set to be sharper, funnier, and more ruthless than ever, with leaked domain names pointing to satirical parodies of modern life. From spoofed social networks to ride-sharing services and even content subscription platforms. Every sign points to GTA 6 being Rockstar's most ambitious and biting creation yet. A sprawling playground where the chaos of the modern world becomes their sharpest satire to date.
The only thing that matters.
Do this. We're doing it right.
Yes, they got everything.
You and me, bro.
From Double Fine comes a dreamlike adventure unlike anything else. A game called Keeper. It's the story of a lighthouse, not just a structure, but a being that awakens in a silent, post-human world. The tone is strange, serene, and beautiful, told not through dialogue, but through movement, imagery, and the land itself. You guide this towering, sapient figure as it takes its first uneasy steps, walking across windswept terrain toward the mysterious mountain at the center of the island. Alongside it flutters a seabird, a quiet companion in this meditative journey. Inspired by themes of post-humanism and life after disaster, Keeper isn't about fast action or loud battles. It's a gentle yet powerful reflection on existence itself. A story without words, where every step feels like poetry. and every shadow hints at something profound beyond the world we know. Imagine inheriting a seaside hotel that once glittered with life but now crumbles under the weight of time. That's where Chris David's story begins. He has 30 days and nights to restore the Grand, or risk losing not just the building, but himself. By day, the game feels warm and whimsical. You wield quirky talking tools like a furniture cannon, turbo vacuum, and a paint sprayer guided by your Scottish AI assistant, Robert C. McBrushy. Painting walls, fixing rooms, even cruising on a moped or repairing a boat. It's cozy and fun, like a playful renovation simulator. But when the sun sets, everything changes. The same tools transform into weapons, and the hotel reveals its darker truths. Spider-legged armchairs crawl through hallways, memory bubbles haunt a World War II bunker, and eerie forces seep through the cracks of reality. Part of Sony's China Hero project, Exiledge is a striking new third-person shooter that fuses high-speed gunplay with hack-and-slash combat. Developed for PlayStation 5 and PC, the game tells the story of Alter, a young hero caught in a universe shaped by eternal cycles, where the very earth quakes, structures collapse, and prophecy looms. Beside him stands Zora, a mysterious companion whose role is as enigmatic as the crumbling world itself. Expect intense combat, flashy combos, and epic boss battles, all set against breathtaking landscapes crafted with cinematic ambition. While the visuals have drawn high praise, early impressions suggest the gameplay may need refinement, with some sequences feeling uneven. Still, the ambition is undeniable. Survival horror roguelike with one of the strangest twists you'll ever see. You're a dentist, and your patients are colossal, barely sedated sharks. Each operation is a high-stakes balancing act. One slip of the drill, one wrong move with the mirror, and those jaws will snap shut with deadly consequences. The gameplay is as tense as it is absurd. You'll juggle tools, anesthesia, and heart monitors, while random malfunctions and sudden pain spikes turn routine procedures into life-or-death battles. It feels like a blend of Jaws, Saw, and a twisted version of the old Crocodile Dentist game, where every click of a tooth could be your last. The tone swings between dark comedy and sheer terror, a reminder that even in the world of video games, dentistry can be horrifying. CrisisX is a survival shooter that aims for nothing less than one of the largest open worlds ever made. It's free-to-play, post-apocalyptic, and set on a staggering 1,200 square kilometer map, capable of supporting up to 5,000 players per server. The environment is diverse: snowy peaks, dense forests, hidden labs, scorched deserts, 12 unique biomes filled with threats both human and monstrous. You'll scavenge, craft, and fight to survive, facing not only infected NPCs but also titanic mutants and rival survivors. Every detail of survival matters. Hunger, thirst, disease, and weather will test you, while vehicles ranging from ramshackle trucks to armored Sherman tanks give you tools to fight back. But ambition can cut both ways. Early showings have drawn mixed reactions. Critics cite flat visuals, clunky animations, generic combat, and unimpressive AI.
Become the real crisis. And this time, what's your way out?
From the creators of Ghost Runner comes Valor Mortis, a dark and brutal first-person Souls-like steeped in history, horror, and corruption. You awaken as William, a soldier resurrected from a mass grave after serving under Napoleon. The world around you is rotting, ravaged by plague, and a sinister substance called nephthoglobin courses through your veins. It grants terrible power but twists many into grotesque abominations. Combat is intense and deliberate, built on precision, stamina, and the mastery of parries. You'll wield sabers and muskets, pistols and blades, all while unleashing supernatural transmutations, abilities that bend flesh and fire in ways both beautiful and terrifying. Environments unravel like a haunted maze, layered with backtracking, environmental storytelling, and bosses that demand patience and skill. From the creators of Road 96 comes a sci-fi tale unlike anything else. Tides of Tomorrow takes place on A.I.L.A, an ocean planet drowning under climate collapse and a mysterious disease called plastification. Here, survival and story flow together like currents, shaped not only by your choices, but by those of players around the world. This is asynchronous multiplayer storytelling. Your decisions ripple outward, appearing in other players' games as ghostly echoes, just as their choices reshape yours. Exploration is first-person, mixing boating, survival, and narrative-driven encounters with cults, pirates, and desperate survivors. The branching narrative ensures no two journeys will ever feel the same, as A.I.L.A's fate hangs on both your courage and your compromises.
One more thing, here's an exclusive look at the new location in the game. This place is home to the Party of the Dead, where people come to dance until they...
Fairgames is Sony's bold attempt to capture the thrill of modern-day heists in a competitive multiplayer experience. Developed by Haven Studios, the game puts you in the role of rebellious crews taking on the ultra-rich, pulling off elaborate robberies to rebalance the scales. It's described as a sandbox where emergent gameplay is king, encouraging creativity and improvisation rather than scripted outcomes. Originally pitched as one of Sony's flagship live service titles, the project has faced turbulence. Founder Jade Raymond has left the studio, and poor results from external playtests led to a firm delay. What was once expected sooner has now been pushed to 2026, with development continuing for PlayStation 5 and PC. From Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment comes Road Kings, a next-generation trucking simulator with a narrative edge. This isn't just about hauling cargo from one city to another, it's about building a reputation, surviving the road, and navigating a world full of rivalries and corporate intrigue. You begin as a rookie trucker, carving a path through the American South, driving routes from Jacksonville to Savannah. Weather shifts, road conditions change, and your decisions echo beyond the highways. You'll face competitors, form alliances, and even perform daring rescues, delivering supplies in moments of crisis. The simulation is meticulous, with every detail of weight, torque, braking, and wear built into the trucks, all of which can be customized to fit your style. But Road Kings isn't only about machines, it's about choices, morality, and the communities disrupted by corporate greed. A saga of vengeance, survival, and destiny, Norse Oath of Blood casts you as Gunnar, the exiled son of Jarl Griper, whose father was murdered by the treacherous Steinar Farspear. Stripped of everything, you must rebuild your settlement, forge alliances, raise a warband, and reclaim your honor. This is a tactical, turn-based strategy game where combat is shaped by terrain, positioning, and unit synergy. Environmental hazards can turn battles in unexpected ways, and deep progression lets you arm your warriors and shape them into legends. But beyond combat lies the heart of a village, settlement building, resource management, and the decisions that shape both your people's future and Gunnar's fate.
spirit. Stay now, far spear will die.
A psychological horror that thrives on silence, memory, and paranoia. Operation Stutter places you deep inside a secret Cold War research bunker, a place where walls seem to breathe and corridors shift when you're not looking. You wake with no memory, only a film camera in hand, a tool to capture anomalies, to see what shouldn't be seen, to preserve fragments of truth in a place designed to bury it. There are no shotguns or flamethrowers here. Your weapon is perception. Documents, recordings, and shadows tell the story of experiments gone wrong, of fractured realities where time and trust break apart. Developed by Kevir Entertainment, the first indie studio from Kurdistan, the game draws on cultural identity while unraveling the paranoia of an era defined by secrecy.
I can't breathe! I don't want to die!
On the war-torn island of Morova, mercenaries fight for dominance in Reaper Actual, a persistent open-world shooter that blends tactical realism with large-scale warfare. This is no arcade sprint. Every bullet, every step, every decision carries weight. You'll take contracts from NPC factions or rival players, build and defend bases that can even take the form of submarines, and fight in sieges with up to 200 players clashing across the battlefield. Combat is slower, strategic, and punishing. Precision and planning matter far more than speed. Developed by veterans behind PlanetSide 2, the game borrows from MMO persistence while keeping the intensity of a first-person shooter. Bases can be raided, loot can be stolen, and control of the island shifts like a tide of steel.
Enemy spotted! Need backup!
Atmosfar takes you above the clouds, into a world of floating islands and endless skies. Set on an alien planet where humanity's last colony has collapsed, you command flying crafts known as wasps, launching from a mobile airbase into a fractured, mysterious world. The experience blends open-world exploration with engineering and survival. Alone or with friends, you'll gather resources, upgrade and customize your fleet, and push deeper into the skies, where colossal floating landmasses and strange sky-dwelling creatures wait to be discovered. Authenticity and destruction define Call to Arms. Panzer Elite, a tactical tank simulator set during the summer of 1944. You'll command up to 5 tanks in real time, switching seamlessly between them as you engage in the legendary battles of Normandy, from St. Lo to the Ardennes. Every shot matters. Armor thickness, ballistics, and destructible environments shape each encounter with brutal realism. Whether in single-player, co-op, or competitive PvP, the combat is grounded in history, capturing the chaos and strategy of armored warfare at its peak. Developed by Digital Mindsoft and published by THQ Nordic with financial backing from the German Federal Ministry, the game is powered by Unreal Engine 5 and aiming for early access on Steam in 2026. Time itself becomes your lifeline in Time Takers, a futuristic team-based survival shooter from Mistal Games and NC Soft. Squads of 3, known as Time Travelers, battle in vibrant arenas where collecting time energy is the key to survival. Every action, reviving a teammate, unlocking a power-up, or pushing for strength, demands that same precious resource, forcing squads to decide: spend time to survive or risk it all to dominate. The cast is wild, with characters pulled from across eras, a knight with steel and shield, cyber-augmented warriors, even alien-like beings. Customization runs deep, letting you fuse weapons with passive apps to shape your strategy. The arenas are fast, colorful, and explosive, pushing both reflexes and tactics to the limit. Kemuri is the debut project of Unseen, led by creative visionary Ikumi Nakamura, and it's a surreal dive into a hidden world where folklore meets neon cities. You play as a yokai hunter in a sprawling urban jungle, where supernatural beings hide in plain sight, walking among the unsuspecting. With the Fox Window, a mystical tool, you can pierce the veil and reveal their true forms. The style is dreamlike, blending whimsical horror with Japanese mythology in a city that feels alive, layered, and strange. The game can be played solo or in co-op, where friends join you to hunt yokai and uncover the mysteries lurking in alleys, rooftops, and abandoned streets. The legendary city-building series takes a leap back in time with Anno 117, Pax Romana, set during the height of the Roman Empire. As a governor of Rome, your duty is to balance the needs of your citizens with the demands of the empire, managing trade, religion, diplomacy, and military might. For the first time, the series explores antiquity, allowing you to start either in Latium, the heart of Rome, or Albion, the Celtic provinces at the edge of the empire. Each location offers unique challenges, cultures, and strategies. New features include diagonal building placement for more creative city layouts, localized influence zones that reshape production, and a faith system that weaves culture and belief into governance.
Of the Vedas' cottages. But Albion isn't just like divine judgment and rain life because of the atmospheric scattering and reality you build to life at all hours of the day.
Thunder Lotus Games, the studio behind Spiritfarer, now turns to something darker, sharper, and more intense. At Fate's End, you play as Shan, the youngest of the Hemlock family, a lineage twisted by grief and rivalry. Shan wields the god sword Isis, a weapon so powerful it cost her the very sound of her voice. The game blends fast-paced sword combat with moments of emotional weight, where dialogue choices, confrontations, and even silence shape your story. Each sibling you face represents a tarot arcana, and your victories or reconciliations with them weave directly into Shan's skill tree, altering her abilities and destiny. Themes of family, legacy, and reconciliation run through every step of the journey. It's more intense than Spiritfarer, but no less intimate, a game where battles are as much emotional as physical. A dark fantasy action game steeped in cosmic dread and Japanese folklore, Kaidan casts you as a seeker, someone who struck a desperate pact for a second chance and awakens in the haunted land of Ikaiguchi. From the first steps, the world presses in with a grim cinematic weight. Tangled shrines, rain-slick ruins, and yokai that move like nightmares given bone and breath. The loop blends extraction-light tension with sharp skill-based combat, letting you venture out alone or with a friend, push your luck against grotesque bosses, and decide when to pull back with what you've earned. Its Gamescom showing turned heads for a reason. The vibe feels like Darkest Dungeon's oppressive dread meeting the windswept severity of a samurai epic. For now, it's confirmed only for PC on Steam, with no release date yet.
Lest you wash up again on my shores, your frail body shatters and broken.
15 years before Requiem, the story shifts to Sophia, a young plunderer on the run whose flight leads her to Minotaur's Island, a place where myth doesn't whisper, it hunts. This prequel leans into action, intuitive, punchy combat with parries, kicks, timed dodges, and weapon-powered finishers against human foes and creatures shaped by old legends. Exploration is layered with puzzles that turn light itself into a tool, as you wield a stolen Minoan sphere to carve paths through traps and shadow. The Makala's ancient evil resurfaces in surprising forms, and something Minotaur-like stalks the island's labyrinthine depths. Announced June 8, 2025, the game is slated for 2026. At long last, the saga set up by the original game's cliffhanger is ready to ride again. Darksiders 4 embraces everything fans love. myth-soaked realms, crunchy traversal, smart environmental puzzles, and turns the dial with a cinematic charge and a tighter bond between its protagonists. All 4 horsemen are playable, each carrying a distinct combat language, so encounters feel like a rotating symphony of styles rather than a single note held too long. Expect the series' signature blend of exploration and spectacle, riddles that open new routes like clockwork, and boss fights that crackle with apocalyptic energy. A Wuxia fever dream fused with stark urgency. Phantom Blade Zero follows Soul, a legendary assassin granted a mystical cure that buys him just 66 days to unravel the conspiracy that killed him. Every second counts, and the combat makes you feel it. Wall runs into razor-clean parries, blink-quick repositioning, cinematic finishers, and bursts of Sha-Chi that turn a single opening into a whirlwind of steel. The world is semi-open and intricately connected, with branching paths that weave story and challenge together, while the camera dances through fights to showcase each exchange like a choreographed martial arts film. Release date is not yet announced. Platforms are PlayStation 5 and Windows PC.
Which lets you throw flames in a wide area while slowly lion dancing towards your opponent hard at the same time. It's very hard to grasp the feeling of it. The easy part is you're still getting room in between, especially with multiple opponents. The AI learning portion, on the other, after doing it a couple times, it started to go directly into a counter stance right after I parried, which forced me to change.
The floods have risen and the mystery has curdled into survival horror. Leaving the detective focus of the original behind, this sequel throws you into decaying streets, where eldritch waters gnaw at the city and monsters stalk the alleys. You scavenge, craft, and fight with period firearms and brutal melee tools, feeling every spent bullet and every hard choice as resources run thin. Investigation hasn't vanished. It lingers as optional lore-rich puzzles that deepen the descent without slowing its pulse. Developed by Frogwares, the project secured a successful Kickstarter in March 2025, a rallying point for a studio building under wartime strains. You're the lone beta tester dropped into a near-future VR horror sandbox where the game itself watches, learns, and twists the rules around you. A.I.L.A isn't just an antagonist, it's an adaptive intelligence that builds nightmares from your choices, stitching scenes together in real time as you jump between warped environments with a remote that's both lifeline and loaded gun. Every scenario feels personal and cruelly clever. A morgue puzzle that asks you to take a key from a corpse's mouth, a biometric lock that only yields to a severed finger or an unblinking eye, corridors that rearrange as soon as you turn your back. Running on Unreal Engine 5 with MetaHuman, Lumen, and DLSS, the presentation lands at a slick 60 frames per second, all razor-clean lighting and skin-crawling detail.
Attack me! Help! SOS!
What is your biggest fear?
First-person fantasy combat with teeth. Fatekeeper is a dark action RPG built by former Spellforce 3 developers, chasing the adrenaline rush that games like Hellraid once promised. Instead of a sprawling open world, it carves the journey into handcrafted semi-linear hubs packed with branching routes, secret pockets of lore, optional mini-bosses, and shortcuts that curl back into themselves. The fighting is physics-driven and satisfyingly mean. Every swing, shove, and spell has weight. Kick brutes into spikes, hurl them off ledges with a gust of wind, sever limbs in brutal slow motion, and finish the job with executions that feel earned. It respects your time but rewards curiosity, a rhythm closer to Dark Messiah's momentum and Doom's pacing than the usual RPG sprawl. From the studio behind Inotria comes a bold, grim vision of Dante's Epic, an action RPG that treats Inferno, Purgatory, and Paradiso not as poems on a page, but as living, hostile realms to fight through. Combat is hack and slash with a theatrical flourish. Blades ring in cathedrals of ash. Enemies wear the sins that forged them, and every arena feels like a stanza written in blood. The world reimagines familiar symbols through a sinister lens, pulling myth and theology into a single, oppressive atmosphere. Most intriguing of all, its procedural extraction-style dungeons mean every descent is unique. New routes, new horrors, new temptations to go one room further when you know you shouldn't. Announced at Gamescom 2025. Platforms and date are still under wraps. The next chapter in the Black Myth saga turns from the Monkey King's firebrand heroics to Zhang Kui's demon-hunting legend, promising a single-player action RPG that stands on its own. Revealed with a striking teaser, it carries that same cinematic heft, somber folklore, titanic foes, and choreography that cuts like calligraphy. Hype arrived fast and loud, fueled by a global audience hungry for another mythic spectacle. Yet, behind the noise, the pitch is simple. A focused journey through haunted lands, a blade sharpened against the worst things that crawl out after dark, and a hero carved from iron duty. No release window yet, but PC and consoles are on the slate.
That mountain in her up. Hey.
Hornet finally steps into the light, and the weight gives way to a precise, elegant storm. Silksong doubles down on what made the original sing: intricate level design, secrets stacked inside secrets, bosses that demand patience and nerve, but it moves with a dancer's aggression. Hornet is faster, more vertical, more tactical, threading tools and traps into a combat rhythm that's equal parts finesse and ferocity. Regions feel alive with their own customs and dangers, NPCs carry quests that spiral into entire sub-stories, and the soundtrack wears a crown of melancholy that tightens the chest. It launches September 4th, 2025. From NetEase's 24 Entertainment Studio comes an ambitious step into the world of AAA, narrative-driven single-player gaming. Blood Message drops players into the late Tang Dynasty, an age of turmoil and uprising, where you follow a messenger and his young son on a perilous journey from Dunhuang to the imperial capital of Chang'an. Theirs is not a tale of emperors and generals, but of the forgotten souls who carried history forward through sacrifice and grit. Gameplay unfolds as a tightly woven third-person action-adventure, blending visceral survival combat with stealth and emotional storytelling. The world breathes authenticity, built on painstaking research and captured with Unreal Engine 5, giving every desert wind and temple shadow the scale of an epic Chinese film. A legend reborn in shadows, The Last Ronin transforms the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into a mature gut punch of an action RPG. Developed by Black Forest Games and published by THQ Nordic, it draws heavily from the acclaimed comic of the same name, pulling the story into a dark cinematic space closer to God of War 2018 than the Saturday morning memories you might expect. You step into the shell of the last surviving turtle, a lone warrior haunted by the loss of his brothers, carrying their weapons and their legacy into a grim battle for justice. Combat is heavy, emotional, and deliberate, each strike wrapped in grief and fury, while the narrative unfolds with a weight rarely seen in adaptations of this series.